Hello and welcome to my next book review in my 50 books 1 year hashtag. Today I will be reviewing Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I have seen this book cover for a really long time and I was really drawn to the cover because I really like the cover art. I think it's really clever and it's really cool, but I read the blurb a bunch of times when I was in bookstores or wherever, and I found myself kind of thinking, I went on Goodreads and I saw a whole lot of reviews and they were really mixed. There was a lot of people giving it really low ratings and then other people would give it really high ratings. So there was this almost like divide of people of you either really like it or you really don't like it. So Red Queen is about this main character called Mia, and she has grown up in this society. I'm assuming that it is set in the future. It's sort of dystopia. A lot of things within this book really cling to a similar vibe and feel to the Hunger Games. Like it's kind of, that's what a lot of people who didn't like it really reviewed it as. They said it was a lot like the Hunger Games and that they got frustrated with how much like the Hunger Games it was. I do agree with this to an extent. I do think a lot of it was like the Hunger Games. The society is split into two different types of people. There are the Reds and the Silvers, and that's the colour of those groups' blood. So the Reds bleed red blood and the Silvers bleed silver blood. And the Silvers are the top of society, basically because they have almost like superpowers. They can control minds or control different elements or things like that, and so it kind of means that they have a bit of a royalty system, and the Silvers are always royalty and the Reds are always like the scourge of society. They're kind of the outcasts, and if you were to put it into a Hunger Games kind of frame of mind, you would say that the capital is the Silvers and District 12 is everybody else. There's no kind of like, yeah, there's not really any rich Reds. They're all kind of Katniss Everdeen in District 12, if you will. So the main character is a female, and there are a few things that do make it kind of feel like Hunger Games in the beginning. And to be honest, in the beginning I didn't really like the story. I found the world was a bit similar to the Hunger Games, and that I wasn't sure that I was really gonna like it. I thought, I don't really think I will like it. But as it went on, it started to really separate itself out a little bit from the Hunger Games in terms of that the people who were the top of society, the Silvers, did have superpowers, and I thought that kind of added another cool element to it, but it wasn't like a kind of weird superpowers. It was kind of like X-Men style, which a lot of people have said as well. And yeah, so what would happen is the people, when they turned 18, the Reds would get sent to the front of this war, which we don't really get a lot of information out. Thank goodness there is going to be a sequel. You don't really know why they're going to the war, but it's basically a death sentence to anyone who turns 18 and gets sent to the war. This means that the main character is obviously going to turn 18 eventually and going to be sent along to this war. She has a guy friend who is an apprentice, and if you're an apprentice or you have a job, it means you don't get sent to the war. And the main character Mia doesn't have a job or an apprenticeship, so inevitably she's going to be sent to the war, but one of her best friends does, and her younger sister does, and there's a whole lot of twists and stuff that really take the story to the next level, which I really, really like. What does happen is that Mia ends up working in the kind of palace in the area. Basically they're doing this big process to find one of the princes, his bride, who will be the future queen really. And what they do is they get all the like high families in the area, and each family has like a different power, and they kind of put forward the girl in their family to be selected, and she has this moment where she kind of displays her power, and then the prince decides what will happen or whatever, like he'll pick or something like that, but it's kind of predetermined. What really happens is Mia gets a job at the palace, basically serving people drinks and stuff like that, and it's considered a really good job. and in a roundabout way it kind of ends up, and I won't give it away, but that she ends up somehow in a dangerous life or death situation, and something happens and it turns out that she herself, as a red, has her own superpower, which is so cool. I kind of thought that because it was called Red Queen and I knew a bit of the story, that it would mean that she would be a lot like Katniss Everdeen and start to lead this kind of revolution and be known as the Queen of the Reds, and they'd grow to love her and respect her, and she'd be a rebel and a character a lot like Katniss. And in a way it is a bit similar to that. However, she is set apart because she does have her own superpower. Her superpower is bomb as well. It's so cool. You have to read it for that. She does get taken into the palace and gets to see the world from that side of things. There are two princes and she gets betrothed to the younger prince. There is a huge twist at the end. There's a little bit of a love triangle between her and the two princes, which is really, really interesting. A little bit Hunger Gamesy, but I feel like that's a bit unfair to kind of keep referring it back to the Hunger Games, because there are a lot of books out there that have love triangles. There are a lot. It happens a lot. It's never just enough for the young adult world for two people to just like each other. There always has to be someone else. It's a bit typical, but it happens a lot, and it's fine. I can't think of a time in my life where I've been torn between two people. I don't know. I'm just a simple girl, I guess. But anyway, the pace is a little bit slow in the first half of the book. So if you are going to read the book, do really give it time and make sure that you really allow the book to really build the world for you and really get it going, and you start to really connect with the characters, because you will. But you've just got to give it a little bit more time than you would think. But the second half of the book, the pace really picks up. It gets a lot more exciting and the twists start to come. It's very cool, and the ending is just amazing, and I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel, which comes out very soon over here in New Zealand. I'm very excited. I gave this book a star rating out of 5. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. The reason I did really love the book, the reason I didn't give it the full 5 stars, was because I feel like a lot of things, like a lot of other people have said, are somewhat true, that it does cling to a lot of the kind of cliches of dystopia, and it is similar to Hunger Games in a bunch of ways, but also the story does stand on its own. It does have its own, the characters are different. The main character is someone that you grow to really love and really start to feel for. I would have liked to have seen the royalty side a little bit more unpacked. I would have liked it a little bit more of that, but apart from that, I really did like the book, so I feel like it does get 4 stars, and I would recommend it to a lot of people. I think it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, but there were a few things that I think could have been done a little bit kind of slicker, and there could have been a little bit less of the drawn out beginning and a little bit more detail of the end. I feel like that was kind of rushed through a little bit, but it was still very good, and I think 4 stars is very accurate for this book. So I would love to hear what you guys think, so do comment or let me know, and yeah, I will see you guys for my next review of the 50 books 1 year. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.